Okay, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Special welcome to all our panelists and even more special welcome to all our attendees. My name is Joseph Ooston. I'm the Regional Sales Director at Omega Diagnostics, and I will be moderating the session for today. Firstly, allow me to extend a very warm welcome from a cold Johannesburg. It's our absolute pleasure to host you on our second webinar that we have here at IAS. We trust that you are enjoying IAS as we get to grips with our new reality and trust that sometime very soon we'll be able to meet in person. Allow me first of all to introduce our panelists very briefly. Today we have, I'm just going to go around as I can see them top of my screen, Eman Aleksic. Eman is a global product manager. She will be presenting today. Then we also have John Bannister, our Global Health Director. John is present, so welcome, John. We also have Lutz Molina, our Product Applications Trainer. It's good to have you all here. And a special welcome to our team from CHAI. We have Gabe Seamisch, the Senior Associate for the Global HIV Access Program at CHAI, with particular focus on advanced HIV disease. We also have Anna Moore. Anna is the Project Manager for advanced HIV disease. It's very good to have both of you on our webinar today, and we trust that everything will go well. Just very briefly, our program for today. We have two speakers. First up will be Eman Aleksic. Eman will be talking about global studies with Visitex CD4 advanced disease and our commitment to support the rollout of the product. Eman will be followed by Gabe, who will be speaking about the early market access vehicle, more commonly known as EMAF, and unpack the high-level details of EMAF for us. Eman will then finally conclude the session with a preview of our Global Learning Center, which really demonstrates our ongoing support and commitment to training in the correct use and application of the Visitex CD4 advanced disease. We will then have a few minutes right at the end for Q&A, so feel free to post your questions in the chat box as we move along. So at this stage then, without any further delay, I'm going to allow Eman to proceed and present to us about our first topic, which is really the global studies with Visitex CD4 advanced disease. So over to you, Eman, and then you will hand over to Gabe as well. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Joseph, and welcome everyone for joining at this time. I wanted to extend a special thank you also to Gabe for agreeing to join us on this session today, and Anna Moore for her input on the chat using the Zoom feature. So please feel free to ask those questions at any time. As a brief outline, I wanted to cover today the Visitex CD4 advanced disease product as an overview, and then go into a little bit of detail on our global partnerships. We'll then ask Gabe to go into some more detail on the United and CHAI partnerships for the EMAV agreement. And then I'll extend a little bit further into the detail on Omega's commitment to training and education. And then, of course, looking at our new e-learning platform, the GLC. So in terms of the Visitex CD4 advanced disease product, the product itself was conceived by the Burnet Institute in Australia, and this is actually where I've come from. I worked with Professor Suzanne Crowe and Dr. David Anderson for many years on the product, and right now working with Omega Diagnostics, we have further developed and manufactured the test, and now we have at Omega worldwide commercial rights on the product. We've achieved a number of milestones in our regulatory approval, and we have achieved CE marking in March of 2019. We achieved expert review panel for diagnostics approval from the Global Fund in September of 2019. And in 2020, we had a big year signing with Unitaid and CHAI for a partnership on the EMAV. And of course, in September 2020, we achieved the WHO pre-qualification. The Visitex CD4 advanced disease test is a semi-quantitative visually read lateral flow device that determines the level of CD4 in patients living with HIV. Although the chemistry is complex, the test is very easy to perform, requiring only 3 main steps. Some of the main features and benefits are on your slide that you can see now. It's very easy to use and offers same-day results and really benefits people living with HIV and healthcare providers alike. The test can accelerate clinical disease management, reducing the burden on healthcare workers. It can reduce patient follow-up. It can reduce costs, and we can test anywhere or anytime. It also improves patient outcomes, with patients with advanced HIV disease being able to be targeted earlier for opportunistic infection investigations. Since the launch of the product in 2019, we've been involved in many studies, one of which was a study that was conducted and led by MSF. I know that we have Z Nadlovo on the call today, so welcome Z. He led a multi-site field evaluation and feasibility study from on the Visitech CD4 Advanced Disease Test, comparing against known methodologies, the BD fax count and PIMA machine. It had 2 phases and it lasted for 18 months. And the study sites were in Zimbabwe, Malawi, and Democratic Republic of Congo. We have some images from the training that we conducted there on the screen. Since these results have been published, and 1 or 2 key features that I wanted to highlight were that phase 2 really started to mimic the intended use of the product, taking the product out of the laboratory setting and by the patient bedside. And secondly, just to highlight that sensitivity and specificity supports our claims that we've made on our product too. Since this independent MSF proof of concept study, we've come a long way. We have a number of global partnerships, of which the WHO pre-qualification that we have achieved has led to more. Currently, over half of our projects across 19 study locations are using capillary sampling to support some level of the advanced HIV disease package of care. We've had extremely positive feedback from a number of the parties that are seen on your screen right now. We've had positive feedback not only on ease of use, but also on the absolute need for a product like Visitech CD4 Advanced Disease right now. I want to also make a special mention of a couple of projects that are going to be published this year. One is through the Botswana Harvard AIDS Institute partnership. We've seen very great results with this work, and Joe Jarvis and his team are very positive about the product. We also have another project that's being led by CDC Foundation and IRISAF in Senegal, which has phase 1 data that's extremely supportive for the product and leading to conversations at the ministry level. Of all of our partnerships, I want to talk about the Unitaid and CHAI agreement as a way to really extend access of our unique CD4 product across over 130 countries. We have with us today Gabe, Seamisch, a senior associate from the Global HIV Access Program for Advanced HIV Disease at CHAI, to talk through how the EMAV works. So I'll hand over to Gabe.
Thank you, Eman. So, as Eman mentioned, I'm Gabe Seamisch. I work with the Clinton Health Access Initiative as a senior associate, managing the early market access vehicle, or as Joseph mentioned, the EMAV, as we like to call it. So the EMAV itself is a Unitaid CHAI initiative alongside Omega Diagnostics to coordinate procurement of the Visitech Advanced CD4 disease test at no cost to selected partners. And so how this works, a maximum of 4 implementing partners per country can procure up to 50,000 tests in that country at no charge. And CHAI, we serve as the coordinating mechanism or the secretariat, and all that means is we review the applications, handle the product ordering, and a lot of the communications that go on internally within the EMAV and with partners. The EMAV itself is active through December 2021, but I will say that the application window closes at the end of September 30th, 2021, and we'll chat about that a little bit more here in a couple slides. And the EMAV is accessible to a large variety of implementing partners, including ministries of eligible countries, public funders, UN-related organizations, NGOs, and also nonprofit organizations. So a pretty wide array of partners who can apply to the EMAV. Next slide, Eman. So the EMAV is the first phase of a two-phase strategy designed by Unitate and CHAI to expand access to the Visitech CD4 Advanced Disease Test. Phase one is to support the phased implementation in participating countries to both expand the country experience with the product, but then to also build a body of evidence on the Visitech CD4 Advanced Disease Test. And phase two is to use those country-specific learnings to inform national scale-up and implementation, as well as future market interventions for the Visitech CD4 Advanced Disease Test. So through the EMAV, we've already begun this phased approach in a few different countries, and the feedback so far has been very strong. The countries have wrapped up their feasibility assessments and are now scaling up the tests at additional sites in country. So it's really nice to see these early implementations go well. One, to see the tests implemented, effectively in country, but then to also use these lessons learned from the early adopter countries to have conversations with additional implementing partners, as well as additional countries in addition to that. So yeah, overall, very excited to see the Visitech being introduced and being scaled up, and excited to introduce Visitech in a few more countries as well here before the end of the year. Next slide, Eman. So a little bit about the roles and responsibilities for implementing partners. CHAI will handle all of the product ordering as well as the product costs, and the implementing partner will be responsible for handling the PSM costs, so the costs for shipping, importation waivers, and associated costs, as well as handling the implementation personnel and resourcing needed for the program to run, the programmatic support, and there is some high-level monthly reporting that is also required from the implementing partner, just on some qualitative feedback, as well as number of tests received, consumed, and things like that for order planning. One caveat I will make here is the PSM cost is reviewed on a case-by-case basis. So if you're an implementing partner who's interested in procuring Visitech through the EMAV, but are hesitant because of the associated PSM costs, we can review these on a case-by-case basis and potentially cover the PSM costs as well. But that's something that if you would like the additional funding to list in your application, and CHAI will review it and then get back to you on our decision and any other questions that we may have. Next slide, Eman. So kind of wrapping up here on the EMAV, we are currently accepting the expressions of interest on a rolling basis through September 30th, 2021, or when the volume commitment is delivered through the contract, whichever comes first. So we do encourage partners, if you think this is something you'd be interested in applying in and procuring Visitech through the EMAV, to apply as soon as possible, just to ensure that those tests will still be around and that we have not reached our volume commitment before you apply. Parties interested in the participation can review the expression of interest online, and Eman, we could probably send that out after, or I can put the details in the chat, whichever works easiest. And you can also reach out with any questions to our email box, emav@clintonhealthaccess.org, for more information or any questions that you may have regarding a specific implementation with your organization or in your country. And I can also supply that email in the chat as well. But with that, Eman, I'll pass it back to you. Thanks for letting us put in our EMAV plug, and let me know if there are any questions.
No, thank you so much, Gabe. I think the people who are joining through the IAS conference, the details of the EMAV and the links are on our exhibition page, but we can certainly send them through to the attendees after this call.
Great, thanks.
No problem. Okay. All right, so thank you, Gabe, and really we can see that there's a lot of support for the product right now. I wanted to go into our training experience, and just to cover that we have trained all levels of the healthcare system, in saying that, from primary care down to the community care level, and also the healthcare community. So when we talk about that, we think about lay health workers through to doctors. We've conducted over 50 training events and with approximately 270 trainees, and this has covered 40 study sites across 25 countries around the globe. Our goals really are to empower country teams by training trainers and end users, basically identifying local champions to continue rollouts on our behalf. as we are a small company and a small team. I just wanted to highlight with this pie graph here that we have a lot of our projects in sub-Saharan Africa, but we are rolling out around the globe. So we have a very strong commitment to education and support at Omega. Really, the reason why we do this is because we want to tailor fit a best fit solution to your needs. This offering is really through a dual level, through personnel as well as resources. First of all, in terms of personnel, we have a dedicated product application trainer who's joining us on our call today, Luz Molina. She can tailor a program to your needs and also deliver the training to you. Product support team is a dedicated team that's awaiting your technical inquiries, and this is a team that's based in our head office in Alva in Scotland in the UK. We also have local country contacts, and we can connect you to any of our local partners and local distributors around the globe. In terms of resources, we have a number of our materials already translated into English, Portuguese, French, Spanish, Ukrainian, and more. We have an online virtual training program via Teams, Zoom, or WhatsApp. We have been very successful in training over 14 training events with over 65 trainees via Zoom since the COVID pandemic affected worldwide travel. And to add, we do also have a number of personnel around that are part of our team. We offer in-person training where possible, and we can travel to you. We have Lorraine Naoki, who's on our call today, who is our regional sales manager, who is based in Kenya. And then we also have our regional sales director, Joseph, who is moderating the session, who's based in South Africa, who have been able to travel during the COVID pandemic. Support materials are extensive, and we have a number of materials to support your learning and needs, and also to deliver local training. And we can give you access to those as required. In terms of today, we're very proud to announce our Global Learning Centre. We've been working on this for some time, and without further ado, I'm going to go into that. The Global Learning Centre, or as we call it, the GLC, is really a unique platform for a unique product. We've consulted with a number of our existing users and trainers in the field and key stakeholders to build this platform. We've consulted with the likes of CDC, FIND, EGPATH, CHAI, MSF to achieve the final product. And really, the design of the program is for end users, but not only them, but for administrators too. The administrators at the country level will be able to identify who is trained and where they are located. This program will support in-country programs. Self-administered learning is available, and the users will be able to access refresher training. It also allows record keeping to support quality management systems locally. It can be used online or offline. Users can be registered via the GLC email address that's on your screen. And we can even register users without email access. And there's a lot of benefits for doing that. So next, let's watch a short clip describing the end user features of the platform, and then we'll take a closer look at the platform itself. So let's take a closer look at the platform. This is the end user dashboard that you can see on your screen. And really what you'll see when you first enter the course is a welcome. You'll see that you've got instructions and you'll have access to different tabs at the top right. The home page is what we see now, and then there's a My Course page and a report page. On the My Courses, there's two options. for courses. One is an hour-long course. We suspect that it will take on average an hour. It involves the course as well as an assessment or an assessment alone. In this user's dashboard, they have access to 2 courses. And you can see the reporting page goes through their history as well. So you can see that even though this person has conducted the course and assessment twice, they've had different scores, and they're able to see their certificates for each of those attempts. So, for example, you then see certificate of competency when you download that certificate, the awarded date, and your implementing partner. And that implementing partner will be adjustable for the implementing partner that is rolling out that specific training program. If you want to, you can then select to print or to save, and you can even go back and look at certificates that have been previously conducted. So if your QMS requires you to run a refresher every 6 months, you'd have all these records here. Okay, so switching next to have a closer look at the course modules. So here what we have is a welcome screen for the course. When you enter this course, you will have some information about what you need to do in order to pass the course. And we have set it at a high level of 95% pass rate to pass your assessment quiz at the end. In order to start, you'll need to, if you have the course modules, you'll need to run through the course modules from start to finish. So you need to scroll down and you will see welcome introduction, key product features, before you start section, performing the test section, and interpretation quiz section. As I said, the sections will be locked until you've completed 100% of the section before. When you're ready to begin, all you need to do is click view and you'll jump into the first module. In the welcome and introduction section, we go through a lot of the information that we provide on advanced HIV disease, a bit of background on why CD4 is important, and details, for example, on the WHO definitions on the intended use. And then we go into the learning objectives. And here we want you to be able to, at the end of the day, identify and describe the key product features, set up and use the test correctly, identify factors that indicate a failed test and a passed test, and accurately and confidently interpret a wide range of results. And finally, learn where to find access to more resources to support your role. Once you've completed all of these features, you would then move over to the key product features. Here you can learn more about the test and what does it do and why it's needed. You'll need to click on all the tabs in order to progress to the next page. Here we take a closer look at the contents of the kit, and there are different icons, that hotspots we call them, to pop open the box and take a look inside. Next, we take a closer look at the test device, and here you can click on any of these hotspots to learn more about a feature of that test device. Here we're taking a look at the sampling device, and gives you tips and hints about how to use these things. Next, we take a closer look at interpreting the test. What is a valid test? How to read an above result, and what does that mean? And a below result, and what action needs to be taken. And throughout the course, there are knowledge checks. So you can test your knowledge, and if you're really struggling with a question, you can go back and read before you progress to the next section. In the before you start section, this is really to help people prepare for testing. So we take you through what you would need if you are running a capillary sample versus a venous sample, what's in the kit and what's out of the kit in list form and in an image form. We ask you to read the product insert and job aid. And we're taking time away here to allow you to practice how to use your timer, using the buffer bottle, how you should hold it, and then hints about the precision pipette and sampling device. Next, we can take a closer look at testing conditions. And of course, this test is read by eye, so we have highlighted that you should have pretty good lighting. in order to read the test result. And a closer look at the foil pouch and what all of the information on the back of the pouch means. Next, we take a closer look at performing the test. And these are instructions that follow the instruction for use in our IFU, or our insert. Takes you through your sample types, capillary sampling, venous sampling, and there's loads of tabs to click on, information and more tips. Then it takes a look at running the test, which is the simplest part in the end. Once you get to this point, you'll be able to test your knowledge. And then there's a refresher on interpretation of the test. Finally, there's a number of troubleshooting tips for success here. These are really troubleshooting and FAQs, very common ones that we get in the field. We've added them all here. Okay, so next and finally, we're going to just have a quick look at the interpretation quiz. So the quiz itself has some instructions at the very top. Here we go. And these are 50 questions, and you'll need to have a pass rate of 95% to achieve a pass and get access to a certificate. If you don't pass after the first attempt, you will have an opportunity to answer any questions the second time. But if you fail that second attempt, you'll be directed to contact us, and then we'll refresh your learning pathway and then touch base and see if there were any issues so that we can really capture that and address that at the time. The first 3 questions, one is order these in the correct order of the test steps, and a couple of multiple choice questions about timings. Then the rest of the procedure of the interpretation quiz are questions, all about how to read a result. So here you click on the image and you'll see a full length test device. You'll also then see zoomed in of the same test device result window in vertical and horizontal format, because we know from what people tell us in the field that they are switching the layout of the test to read the result, and it makes it easier for them. So in this case, we would read the result, we would check it's valid, and then we would say, in this case, it's a below reference result, and select that. If we select the correct answer, we'll be informed that it is correct and the reasons why. And this goes on for another 47 questions. So you get a lot of practice. Okay. So I know that we're running to the end of the session, so I just wanted to finish here and conclude by saying that we do have a great product. The advanced disease product is pre-qualified. It's really a gateway to test the advanced HIV disease package of care. We have extensive global partnerships, and we have an immense amount of donor support right now for MOH adoption via the EMAB initiative. The team here is here to support your training needs for implementation and, of course, scale up. And, of course, this introduction of the Global Learning Centre is a game changer for our unique product. I really thank you for listening, and thank you, Chai, for your inputs. And let me open the floor to questions if we have any.
Thank you very much indeed, Eman. Thank you, Gabe, for the excellent presentations. We really appreciate that. At this stage, we don't have any questions, so I'm going to invite the panelists if there are any brief remarks to make, after which I will close out the session.
Yeah, Joe, maybe if I can make just one quick comment, just to endorse Eman's closing piece there on the Global Learning Centre. Yeah, I mean, this is a culmination of a huge amount of hard work, particularly on Eman's behalf in driving this forward. So particularly want to put on record my thanks to her. And yeah, it really paints an exciting picture for the future, because we have a really strong commitment to training and education with the products. We want to support our end users, we want to support the studies that we're involved in, and we're determined to reach people wherever they may be in the world, where they need training, support, and education to make sure that the product is scaled up efficiently and people are happy using the product. So yeah, I'd just like to make that comment.
Thank you very much indeed, John. We do have one question/comment from Zine Glover. The question is really around giving us a snapshot of the countries and the studies that we have in the different continents, just to demonstrate the significant scientific evidence that we have. Eman, I don't know if you want to make just a couple of comments on that.
Sure. Not on mute, am I? Thank you, Joe. Thanks, Steve, for the comment. Yeah, we didn't go into so much detail here, and I, it's obviously limited for time, but we are working in a number of continents right now, as I mentioned very briefly in one of my slides, just looking at the global expansion. We're working with, for example, we have a number of projects in Asia, in Latin America, and in sub-Saharan Africa. And of course, we have a couple of those projects that I highlighted that are, imminently going to be published. In terms of the implementation sites, we are obviously rolling out with the EMAV, and I think we're working in a number of key countries in Africa there, but we don't get specific level of detail, but we do know that they have gone to not just centralized clinic, centralized sites. These are community level sites as well. I don't know if Gabe or Anna, you want to go into any detail about that. But yeah, we can definitely talk offline, and we can set up another session that goes into more detail on the projects that we have at a future time.
Thanks, Eman, and thanks, Z, for that question too. So through the early market access vehicle, we have received and approved applications for 7 countries. Most of these are in sub-Saharan Africa, but we have also received some interest from Southeast Asia, as well as South America. As CHAI, these are not regions in which we have existing work streams. So that's been really exciting for us to really expand our work beyond just our focal countries. But yeah, and also from a number of other countries and a broad range of implementing partners still at quite early stages of discussion. So we expect that to expand quite a bit in the next few months. And just to the point around the level of care, like Eman said, these have, in most of our settings, these have really been decentralized to the lowest level. And we have implemented, we've received really positive feedback from the training, from the ability of the test to provide the same day result and linkage to care on the same day. So we are wrapping up some early feasibility studies, and hopefully that information will be made public soon too. Thanks.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you very much indeed for your contributions there. We do have just a question from Alexander Jordan relating to whether the session or the recording is available online. So Eman, can you just us in terms of availability of the recording and where and when it will become available, please?
Yeah, it will be available this afternoon, after the session. So I'll just download and upload to the IAS exhibition page, so the Omega Diagnostic exhibition page. And for those of you who are attending from outside of the exhibition, we can email those through to you. So just email us at the contact details here, and we can send that out to you too.
Thank you very much indeed.
No worries.
I think with that, we are going to wrap up the session. So just a couple of closing remarks. So again, thanks to all the panelists. Special thank you to our presenters, and special thanks to all our attendees. Just a reminder that if you do want to make contact with CHAI regarding the EOI, you can contact CHAI on email at clintonhealthaccess.org, or if you want to know more about the GLC, the Global Learning Center, you can reach us at glc@omegadiagnostics.co.za. So we want to continue to support the rollout of our product, continue to assist you with training, whether it's new or existing users. So please reach out to us as we continue to do that. Thank you very much indeed for attending. We appreciate your attendance, and we trust that you will enjoy the rest of IAS and be safe wherever you go. Thank you very much indeed. We will now close out the session.